Welcome. You're tuned into Life is a Sacred Journey. Every week, we bring a new perspective to aging and caregiving. Here is your host, Micheal Pope.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. I feel like I've been away from you for a very long time. Feels like forever. I'm excited to be with you. The last 2 Fridays, I have been on some adventures, and I want to tell you all about them. But first, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to Life is a Sacred Journey. I am your host, Micheal Pope, and it's always a privilege and an honor to be with you every Friday. And I've been away for the last 2 Fridays that I will share with you kind of what I've been up to, because I do want to share it with you. But before I do that, yesterday I was struck with the news that Wilma Chan was hit by an automobile. The details I don't know, and I was a latecomer to the information because I had, as you all know, I don't watch television, and so I got it through a variety of emails that were sent out. But I just want to dedicate this morning's pondering and this morning's Life is a Sacred Journey to Wilma Chan. And I met Wilma Chan when I began my career here at ASEB, Alzheimer's Services of the East Bay. And at that time, I was a program director at our Haywood location, actually San Leandro, at the hospital there. And you know, there was so much going on around the Medi-Cal benefit and how that was going to shake out for people in Alameda County. And Wilma Chan and I ended up in Sacramento together as well. We ended up on an NPR show over in San Francisco where we were interviewed together about the benefits of the Medi-Cal benefit, adult day healthcare benefit, which is now known as CBAS, Community-Based Adult Services. And I just loved her. She was funny. She was, you know, she was a people's person, right? She just loved people. And she and I began what now is a 24-year relationship as it relates to advocacy for seniors. And then we knew a little bit about each other because we did share our love for family and all of those things. And recently, she and I had a conversation around the conversation around Asian hate and you know, Black Lives Matter, and how we might together turn that conversation around and bring people to the table to clear the air around that. But more importantly, I just want to say thank you, Wilma Chan, for a life that was amazing, and I'm so in shock that it was cut short. And so to her family, we grieve with you, not in the way that you're grieving, but we're grieving with you. And we just want to take a moment of silence. And I've already lit the candles in the back for many people, but today for Wilma Chan. So let's just take a moment and think about her legacy as a woman of courageous courage to do more than just take care of herself, to ensure that others were cared for. So Wilma Chan, we will miss you. Rest in peace. And this moment is for you. Okay, thank you so much. And please, go online and read about Wilma Chan if you're not from the Bay Area, so that you can understand the brevity of this beautiful, beautiful woman's life and what she gave to the community, and how she taught us to do better, and that we could be better. and just for her family, who I'm sure are in a state of shock. She was hit by an automobile as she was walking her dog earlier this week. So rest in peace, Wilma Chan. So I have missed you all so very much. It's great to be back with you this Friday morning. I have been on so many adventures. As you know, for the last 2 years, we've been with pandemic conversation was one, and then just being busy and not being able to travel, and which I love to do at least once a year, do a trip somewhere. And that started when I turned 60, and I started to realize that I wasn't living my best life, that I could do better. And so I wanted to do that over the last couple of years and just haven't been able to because of work. And then, of course, the pandemic. So the first Friday that I was away from you, I actually went to the Dixie Fire and the Calder fires, all of that, the Calder fire, and went to those areas where the fires ravished the community. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about that this morning. And then I was at a conference, and I want to talk to you about what it felt like coming back together with people, but also what it felt like in the last couple of weeks, being out in the world a little bit more than I have been in a year and a half. I want to talk about some other stuff that is going on in our world and how we might change the trajectory of that. So again, you have joined Life is a Sacred Journey in the virtual neighborhood of life. I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank you all for continuing to follow us. I want to thank you for your wonderful notes of just everything that you say to me. I want to thank my brother, Mr. Furman, who always sends me notes about different things and helps me to dig deeper inside myself and to think bigger than maybe I even thought that I could. And I want to thank just all of you who have shared this with other people, who show up for this. And, thank you. Just thank you. I'm grateful for you. I thought about you all as I was out and about in the world. So let me start with the fires. The opportunity to be on a visit with our bishop, the bishop of the denomination of faith that I follow, practice, and am a part of, the United Methodist Church, and Bishop Minerva Carcagno and a group of us went to up to the fire area. And we drove up, which was really great. And yes, we were all vaccinated. And yes, we wore our mask the entire time, except for when we were eating and usually at a microphone. And even then, we wore a mask. And the area was ravished by fire. I have never seen myself personally, anything burnt to that level, like up close, where you knew there was a house there because the foundation was still there, but all the fixtures and the piping and everything that were melted, melted to the ground. And I just was so taken aback by that. It just kind of in some ways blew my mind. And I actually have a piece of wood that, a bark that I will share with you. I forgot to bring it in from the car, so I'll show it to you next week as we open together. But what I felt was the extreme pain that first I'm going to start with nature, because we should always start with nature since we depend upon nature for our very existence. To see the trees being so burnt to the place that they were still standing, but you knew they were dead, right? Still standing, but you knew they were dead. And then to hear in the Caldor area, the Caldor forest, because there's nobody there. We went there, it's barren, there's no birds, there's nothing. And you could hear the saws because they had to mark the trees and they were cutting the most dangerous ones first and then going back to get the others. And the saw was going and going, and then all of a sudden you would hear it stop, and then there would be this thump, like a crane hitting the ground, but it was the tree. It really impacted me. My whole DNA, my heart, everything inside of my soul cried out for those trees. Then when we were walking among the debris of fire, I saw that I became fascinated with what fire does. There were a line of trees spaced apart where the fire had come from this side or from the east and hit the tree. Actually, that's not east, from the west. It hit the tree, the first tree, jumped the second tree, hit the next tree, jumped the next tree, and went across the street. And I realized that nature has its own rhythm, its own way of practicing its existence among us. How incredible would that you think, I thought before now, fire is a tool made by man. And so when we rub sticks together or we match, we hit a match and we create fire, then we're creating it in a contained environment. When I put wood in my fireplace, it's contained. But when fire is free to live out its energy, it doesn't have a pattern that is what we might make it have when we contain it. I realized that. I saw one house burnt and another house right next to it not. I saw places of hope and places of despair. I spoke to people who have lost everything that they own, everything except for the clothes on their back, which weren't even their clothes, that were given to them because the clothes on their back, that's all they had. But yet I also saw hope. I saw what happens when a group of people come together and do the best they can. I met a woman who has lost everything. But throughout the fires, she made sure she got to a church where she could call all of her congregation members to make sure that they were okay. Reach out to the community. She had nothing, no place to go back to. Stayed in her community. I heard about a woman who recently just moved to the community prior to the fire, had only been there for 5 days, and then her house burnt down. But I heard people saying, we're going to rebuild if we can. I heard stories of insurance companies that have told people, we'll pay out your benefit for this, but you will not be able to be insurable down the road in this area, in this zip code. I heard the stories of pain, sorrow, hope, collaboration, partnership, love. And one of the other things that I realized, and I always have to realize this because of who I am, I went into this space where I was not the only minority, but the only Black person. And what I realized is when we're in crisis and when we're in despair, we kind of ignore where our hope comes from. as long as hope comes. I'm not saying that the people were racist or bigots or any of that kind of stuff prior to, because I don't know them in that way. So I want to make sure I say that, because I know how we make up stuff. And I want to talk about that too, because that happened a couple of times since I've last seen you. But what I realize is that we all have the same desire. We want a home. We want to love our family. We want to be healthy. We want to be able to go to the church where we feel connected to people, or not go to the church, or not practice. So we want all that. And the minute the rug is snatched from under us, we get a little lost. And so should we. And that's where we as people and a humanity coming together come in to try to change and to be and to walk beside. And walk beside. So important. I met a beautiful couple who, when greeted with love and hospitality in a place that they have been called to minister and bring their faith to. I met bears. I met bears, you guys, up at Lake Tahoe, South Lake Tahoe. There's a bunch of bears up there. And the reality is the community lives among them. They actually name them, and the bears feel safe. And I guess they'll be going up into the cave soon, but they were in the neighborhood getting fed, saying good morning, saying hello. What did Michelle Pope take away from that experience? What I took away from that experience is that no time in our life, anything that we purchase, anything that we're able to buy means anything when it's gone. How easily everything that you own can be taken away in a moment's notice, a second's notice, and without your permission. I realized that. I realized the pain of that loss, because we're attached to the memories that the things that we own carry for us. And there's a good side to that. And, we also know that if you take it overboard, that can be a really bad thing. But nonetheless, we all deserve to have things around us that remind us of our childhood, raising our children, being who we are, our rebellious years, our seasons of joy and hope. I also realized that as a humanity, when we're in the middle of a crisis, it doesn't seem to matter if we're from the LGBTQIA community, or if we're Black, or if we're white, or if we have one toe, two toes. Doesn't seem to matter then. Doesn't seem to matter. And I also learned that we have the capacity to love beyond anything we could imagine if we only take a chance. Not only on ourselves, loving ourselves more, so that we can go out into the world and love with abandonment, just love, love, love. And judgment. The minute you are in a situation and you do not use your judgment mind, you are then able to be loved, to embrace love, to feel love, and change the trajectory of love, even when people don't know that they are making you feel like you don't belong. But when you love them, remember that old saying, kill them with kindness? But when you love them, because killing it, that word, I'm sick of that word. Love them with kindness until they understand what it is. Because maybe they, like the young lady said at the beginning of Lauryn Hill's, the miseducation of Lauryn Hill, is she said, maybe they don't know love because maybe they've never been loved themselves. And so if they've never been loved themselves, how can they give love, show love, or be loved? So we have to show up so that people can begin to mirror each other's behavior, because we are a mirroring people. We will do that. But right now, there's a lot of hatred. I heard while I wasn't with you, that a man got up on a plane because the airline person brushed up against him, and he got up and hit that woman in the face and broke her nose. I was like, wow, where'd that come from? I heard about a person driving their car at rapid speeds in a neighborhood in Sacramento and then killing two sisters who sold their wares for the last whatever gazillion decades on that corner because they won. Recklessness. My daughter and I were talking in the car this morning about consequences. I've never done anything in my life that's been good or bad that didn't have consequences. Good or bad, consequences. Consequences nonetheless. We're treading, oh my gosh, in Sacramento and driving up to Sacramento, I heard more tooting of the horn in situations where nobody could do anything. I'm like, why are you tooting your horn? Why would you do that? Don't you see that everybody stopped in the traffic? Helplessness. When we feel a sense of helplessness and fear, we want to attack. And that's the tooting on the horn when you can visibly see that there is nowhere for anybody to go, including yourself, but you feel powerless. And so there you exert your power by tooting on the horn. We're not hearing with a heart of love, we're hearing with a heart of criticism. And so you can say something to somebody. This happened to me about 4 or 5 times since I've been last with you, where I said something to someone and they said, well, I didn't mean da da da. And I'm like, well, I didn't take it that way. I'm just responding to your question, comment. But it's like somebody came in the night and did something to our ear sockets, and we can't hear anything good. When anybody says something, we hear it through that we're being criticized. Or we think that we only have to get things from one place, and there's only one truth, and there's only one way of doing something. I believe that we get to live a life of longevity, those of us that are blessed to do so that we can learn from every facet of being, from every part of your life. I'm glad I lived my 20s because I was a rebel. I was disgusting. But I learned from that. So by the time I was 30, I was getting the mellow yellow. I was getting it down a little bit. I was starting to flow into my surf of life. And definitely through the birth of my children, and from 30 to 50, those years, those 20-something years, I became somebody really different. And then let's talk about the decade of the 60s. I'm only getting ready to be halfway through that. I became really excited about who I have developed into, who the universe has shined love upon, grace and everything. In my 60s, I'm like digging it. I'm digging life. With the understanding there's not much left. And so I either get to do it the best way I can, knowing that today could be the last one, but in the hope that it's not. That's all. No big epiphany, no real big deal. And it's not about anything other than trying to get it right every single day and living my best existence so that I can come out into the world a better, stronger, loving, caring human. Giving that out like the Care Bears. You know, I love the Care Bears. I'm going to buy me a Care Bear. Care all out. And then if I get some weirdness back, then I just go ping, 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 repel. I have decided, this happened while I was gone, you guys. I have decided There is no human being on the face of the planet that I will no longer, that I will give anger to. I will ignore the things that come at me that are not good, that make me feel depressed, that make me feel less than. I will no longer honor that space in my life. That's it. It's gone. So there's somebody I know out there who is probably saying, oh, yeah, right. No, oh, yeah, yes. And the reason for that is I just finished reading a book, and I can't remember the name of it. Somebody gave it to me, actually. And it really did say, you shorten your lifespan every time you get angry and allow another person to live rent-free in your house, meaning your house. And I can get mad quick. I can get escalated pretty fast. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not going to be concerned. That doesn't mean that I won't push back and challenge. But what that means is I won't let that thing, that moment, that space, that conversation, that angry person, that thing manifest itself in me. So that means I got to go ping, put up my shield. Oh, wait a minute, get my Wonder Woman book. Ping, 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 ping. All that negativity. So that's my journey. Between now and my 65th birthday, I am going to see how much and how well, and I'll let you know, I'll let you in on the secret of how well I can do that, because I'm pretty much not that person. So I'm going to work on it, and I'm going to share with you as I work on it. And yeah, so that's the new thing. And then the last pondering I want to have is just that. During this time of pandemic and the upheaval, racism really coming into our neighborhoods and really coming into our lives for those of us who thought that it did not exist at the level that it did. What women and Me Too movement, and again, ignoring that women have been objectified from the beginning of time, and that been abused for the beauty and the magnificence of how they have been created, instead of that being respected and loved, being used as sex objects and all of that. For women who drank that Kool-Aid and again, out of survival, had to do things or were in situations where they were too young to understand, and then hung out to dry and had bad things happen to them. Not of their own doing, not of their own, because there were adults around them who abused them, had the information. All of that is man-made junk, meaning humanity-made junk, that we are inflicting upon each other because we have the power to do so. That's it. And so when we think about the earth and our ability to be better on the earth, there's a couple of things. I've seen more masks on the ground than anything else in the last whatever. Stop dropping your mask on the ground, dear people. Don't do that to Mother Earth. If we want the earth to take care of us, we got to take care of the earth. I am on this. I am on this. That's my new agenda. Earth, earth, earth. Because I get it. I'm a science freak. I get if the earth's gravity, if she tilts just one little bit to whatever, left, right, off that axis, we as a humanity are doomed. I understand that the Amazon rainforest needs to be left the heck alone. Because when you destroy that, you destroy almost half, if not more, of the planet's oxygen re-cleaning ability. I don't know who said it. I think it was Cat Williams. Cat Williams said, we know the formula to water. It's H2O, but we can't make it. Can't make it. Yes, we're trying to figure out how to get the water from the ocean and desalt it enough that we could drink it. But guess what? We're not there yet. So I think we need to understand that this wonderful bulb crystal, this thing that we live on, is depending on us to be good stewards. It's depending on us to love it. And so that's what I got out of the going to the fire area. And I apologize to Mother Earth and to the generations of children that come behind us for not treating the world the way we should have. And I hope all of you will join me in doing better as we go forward. I apologize to our indigenous brothers and sisters that we walk this planet with, who had it right from the beginning and who have been trying to tell us all along, but we didn't listen. I, Michelle Pope, apologize to you, and I will do a better job of listening. I want to walk among you and learn from you and how your footprint on this planet, which is almost zero compared to ours. I apologize to the animals that we have taken their home and said, it doesn't matter. We can tread on your home, but boy, if you come into my backyard, I'm going to poison you, trap you, kill you. I apologize because I'm going to do better. And that's my challenge to you. Let's do better for Mother Earth. Let's do better because our lives depend upon it. If you don't respect it and you don't love it and you don't think the earth is sacred, I can't force you to do that. But I want you to understand your life really does depend on the survival of the planet. And it is dying right before our very eyes. And when we allow, as I said at our annual conference, when we allow the earth to get back into her rhythm, doesn't mean we won't have fires, because that's natural. But the fires we have been having are unnatural because they've been created by humanity. So those are my ponderings. Those are my ponderings. Continue to love life. Continue to be the best that you can be. But understand that the footprint, every time you walk out of your house, you can either spew toxic stuff that destroys not only yourself, but the rest of the world, or you can give love and forgiveness and hope. Be the hope that you want to see in the world. Be the love you want to see. Be the respect that you think you want to demand from others. You be it first. And then you won't have to worry about getting it because it'll come to you. Because guess what? All those things are like a magnet and they attract other magnets that are the same. So thank you for coming back to Life is a Sacred Journey. Thank you for giving me 2 weeks off to go and be in the world and to live a little bit of my personal life. It helped me to grow a little bit more. I will continue to share some other ponderings as we move forward, and we will have some more guests coming again as usual. And so I'm signing out for now. So go hug a tree. Please go hug a tree. I know you have one somewhere in your life. Go hug a tree. Let it know. Thank it. Don't care who's watching you. We got to stop worrying about all that stuff. Thank the tree for what it does for you and for the world and for everybody. And then hug yourself and thank yourself for being here and for being around in the world. And again, if you're sad out there, if you're feeling lonely out there and you think that life would be better without you, know that you are a part of a ripple effect, that without you, we will not be able to succeed. If it gets so bad, pick up a phone, call the suicide hotline. I'm told you all you have to do is hit operator and they will get you through. Because I don't remember the number. I will write it down and we'll have Felicia put it in for you. But you're not alone. You're not alone. And please, please hang on. Call somebody. Walk out in the middle of the street and just scream help if that's all you do. But please don't take your life because you matter and you matter to this world. And it wouldn't be the same without you. All right, friends of Life is a Sacred Journey. We care so much about you, and we're so grateful that you show up every Friday morning at 8 a.m., whether it's a pondering, a guest, or whatever we're doing. And we appreciate you. Oh, I got something to tell you. Wait a minute. I just remembered. I want to thank Steve Shallenberger for helping me out with a retreat, coming and sharing his wisdom from Do What Matters Most. Again, an incredible book, but I just wanted to thank him publicly for what he did for our retreat within our extended cabinet for the Cal Nevada conference. So thank you so much for doing that. Have a great weekend, everybody. And thank you for coming to Life is a Sacred Journey. We appreciate you. Don't forget to share, let somebody know, and don't forget to come back. Peace.